Hey guys, Bolton Dan 96 here, and today's review is going to be on the vintage 1992 Gyaos. So yeah. Anyway, so this Gyaos is obviously based on Gyaos' first appearance in a Gamera movie, which is Gamera vs. Gyaos. This is the Showa version. This is not Space Gyaos. I know Space Gyaos is out there, and that's the common figure everybody has from the Memorial Box. I cannot speak. But yeah, that's a common figure everybody has. I prefer this figure. I honestly do, because I think it's not that I don't like Space Gyaos. It's cool. I might get that figure just to compare these two someday, but he's really cool. I like it. I like this one. It's just, it has interesting paint job and everything. I got them at my local comic book shop for pretty cheap. I think it was like around $60. You might say that's a lot. This guy, he's so rare that he goes for a lot of money on eBay, at least 20 to 30 bucks more than what I paid, which I find is ridiculous. I don't know why you would pay that much for that figure. I think around the range of 20 to 60 bucks. I think that's a reasonable price for any figure. But yeah, so on to articulation. He only has like 2 points really, and that's his legs here. Legs rotate 360. I kind of have to force them a bit, but it's easy. It's in some easy articulation. Come on. They do rub up against the wings, and I wouldn't suggest like rotating them 360 though, because they do rub up against the wings here, and you will get some paint damage on them. There will be paint damage, so I wouldn't suggest you do that. His head kind of swivels back and forth like that. It's not really supposed to, because it gets the little connectors for the wings bump into the head. The wings kind of, you can flap them kind of like that. It's pretty much it for articulation. Just his legs rotate. As for paint job, I feel the paint job is very accurate. It's very good. It looks like the Gyaos from the movie. As you can see, he's got these golden looking eyes, which are, zoom in on that, which is really cool. As you can see, there's really cool looking golden eyes, and as you can see in the mouth, his teeth are golden. I would like to point out that they are just, whoa, got off camera for a minute. Dude, focus. I do like to point out they're not individually sculpted. They're like one piece molded in there, so don't expect them to be individually sculpted. Although it would have been nice if they did that. It looked like they had enough room, but looks like they didn't do that. So you can see he has this nice little shiny bronze paint on it. Kind of like a rosy, kind of brownish paint on his forehead, and same thing with the wings too. His wings have that. As you can see, his wings have that bronzy thing that go from this side to that side. His claws are silver, painted silver. So are his feet claws. The rest of him is painted. Oh yeah, and He's kind of got that same highlight on his chest here. If you can see that, it's really shiny there. But yeah. And basically for the rest of him, he's just a solid brown kind of color. You know, that's the vinyl he was made out of. He is hard, so I wouldn't suggest giving him to some kid, because he will get hurt by this. Could even, yeah, it's really hard. It's these kind of figures, the ones that they make out of this hard vinyl, they're not meant to be played with. They're more meant to, you know, sit on your shelf and I cannot speak, speech impediment. But yeah, they're meant to sit on your shelf and not be played with. They're like the Integration Hedorah. They're meant to be just statues and something nice to look at on your shelf, you know, and say, hey, I have that figure. Yes. As you can see, there's a little piece of his thing missing, but I kind of got over that because it's not that big of a deal to me. So long as I have the figure, I have the figure, you know. Anyway, detail. Oh my gosh. So you can see you got this little ridges here. It's very nice. Looks just like the suit. You got the individual little wing flaps, which are very nice. His claws, very detailed. His skin's highly. I love looking at this figure. There's I love it. I love the detail on here. As you can see, the ruffles in the skin, looking a little like a leather suit, you know. Ruffles on the tail. Got that little fan back there, you know, like a plane to fly through the air. Got that little bump back there that Gyaos had in the movie. You know, it's very nice. It's superb. And if you know something, I didn't go over history. Why? Because you already should know. If you know Gamera, you should know Gyaos' history. Yeah. Since he is a standard figure, you're probably going to be wondering, does he scale well with standard figures? Well, let's take a look. The first one I have is the 1991 vintage Gamera, and I think he scales well with him. Gyaos was always taller than Gamera, but I think people would prefer, you know, Gamera to be up to there a bit. He wasn't that. Gyaos wasn't that much bigger, but he wasn't this big, where he was a head taller. It's probably just because this figure is kind of crouching down, you know. But I think Gamera was about there compared to Gyaos. But you know, I could be wrong. But anyway, this is a nice standard. Another standard figure is this 1992 vintage Godzilla, and he scales well with Gyaos. I think this would be a correct sizing. Maybe Gyaos stands a little taller. I don't know. I think this. I like this. This one works. I do. What would you think if Godzilla battled Gyaos? What would happen? Particularly the Showa one, because the Heisei one kind of was a pussy. But yeah. Scales well nicely with that. 6-inch figures, however, not so much. For comparison, Zeton, as you can see, stands taller than Zeton. Another one, Gamera Creations Gyayan. As you can see, he dwarfs them in size. Even poor Zeton, who for a 6-inch figure is taller than most of them. you know. And one more size comparison is Godzilla 1968. As you can see, Godzilla is dwarfed by him, and I think if this kind of size of Gyaos probably would kick Godzilla's ass a bit. Of course, Godzilla still win, but he did his ass kicked in the process. So yeah, that's all for this review, and I give this figure a 5 out of 5. I love everything about this figure. I do. I really do, because if he's on the shelf, everything's nice about him. The paint job is nice just to stare at. It's really just, it's very nice to stare at. So is the detail. Everything combined together makes it a really nice figure just to stare at, you know, not do stop motion with. Can't do stop motion with him, but, you know, I give him a 5 out of 5 because he was brilliantly done by Bandai. There's nothing I really dislike about him. So yeah, 5 out of 5 for this figure. I definitely recommend him if you're a Gamera fan to pick him up, because he is just awesome. And if you can find him at a cheap price, like say $40, I got mine for $60, like I said, but if you find him for $40, take him. He is a must-have in your Gamera collection. If you're a Godzilla fan or Ultraman fan, and you think he looks cool, you know, then I suggest you get him. He has that way about him that makes him look very nice. So yeah, this is Bulk Time Dan 96 saying sayonara.